Okay, you've done it. If you've gotten to this item, that means you've gotten your local dev environment set up. And there's just a couple more things you need to do. And now we're actually ready to turn to the course and have you walk through section 1 and 2. There's not much code here, but I'm going to actually walk you through how to set up the folder that you'll need for this course in your private repo and just how you're going to submit this assignment. Now, I am viewing this assignment as a teacher. You will get a submit button and you will click that submit button and submit a URL that I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to move to my local environment. Now, the video is up until now. I had been using my Windows environment on my virtual system. So today I'm actually going to move to the system that I use every day to code. And as I mentioned in the video, I'm going to do a file open. And I'm going to open up this directory here that has the two repos that you have hopefully already created and cloned locally and pushed code to and been successful with that. So remember, I can either open them individually within here. If I wanted to open this one and work only in there, I could totally do that. I personally like opening it from the holding container directory that holds my repos. But again, you can do it however you want. I'm going to go ahead and open that so that you should have something similar on your screen. I do have my font a little bigger. I am using a Mac, and Mac has a new command line interactive shell, but it's still basically Bash, so I'm going to clear that. Okay, so this work that you're about to do, and I'll just point back to the section, right? You still need to, the thing you haven't done yet is you do need to install Node.js, okay? Yeah, you haven't done that. And he's going to walk you through it in this course. And I'm just showing you, like, here's the long-term support. LTS is long-term support. The current one, obviously, they've gotten some a major version that they're looking at, but it's not done. So I don't typically use it unless there's a feature I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is just say, walk through the download. Should be pretty straightforward. I don't see any issues there. I'm going to show you on mine, and you can do this on yours, is once you have it, you can do node -- version. And I can see in this case, I'm running, oh, that's a little bit older. So that's okay. I could be running 10. I could even be running 8. And if we run into any issues, you can upgrade it to the process. I do, and again, this is not required. But I do use, let's see if it's in my list. Yeah, I do use something called MVN, Node Version Manager. Again, you do not have to do this. I'm just showing you because I use that to actually run, in this case, a newer version. For some reason, I must have moved to the older version. But my point about this discussion is that just make sure you have a Node version installed and you should be fine. Okay, so coming back over here, what we're going to do is now, and remember, the code up and the dev work goes into your private repo, and the learn together work goes in your public one. So we'll be working in this private one, and I'm going to set up a folder. Now I could do this folder from the command line, but if I like this interface in VS Code, I could do it as well. Here's folder. And here's file. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up a directory called node course. And then as you work through this class and he has you build out other directories, then you will do that in there. Now, in this case, we can go ahead and set up the file. And I believe the name of the file, let me just move over. I think it's just hello.js. So let's go ahead and set that up. I'm going to do hello.js. I believe just in the next directory, he sets up another folder from within here. So follow along and do that as well. Again, making sure you have the current folder selected. So I'm going to change into that node, change directory into that node directory. Let me make sure. Oh, so first I have to do, because again, I've opened it the way I have, is I have to change into the private repo. Okay, and then CD. Now, because there's only one directory for Node, I can just hit N and hit Tab, and it queries the directory and automatically changes it. I'm going to go ahead and clear this just so it's not on the screen. And so what he has you do is write console.log. Now notice what's happening here. One of the really great things about using any kind of IDE is that it's going to try to help you. As I was typing there, you notice the color changes on the line, and that's because the editor is trying to make your life easier. Okay. I believe he typed welcome to class. Right on. And so we've written the code. I have autosave set up so it automatically saves the code. I've placed it into the right directory. I've changed my directory on my terminal into here. And by the way, there are options in here I think you can run, but just get used to running it from the command line, at least for now. And then I'm going to do node, and then I'm going to say the file name. And again, he walks you through this in the video. Cool, right? So because of that whole version issue, it looks like I'm getting it wants me to create launch.json. I'll fix that once I'm done doing this work. Okay, and welcome to class comes out there, so I'm good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to do my GitHub workflow, the part that you learned before. I'm going to do git status. And I should see in this case, I have a new file that's not tracked. That's why GitHub doesn't know what that file is. Remember, you do need to be in the current directory where you've created the file. And then I'm going to do git add, and I can either do star to add anything that I have outstanding, or I can just type the specific name. Now, we'll talk about as we go through why you might do one versus the other. Typically, I will just do a star, and that way it gets anything I have modified during my coding session. But in this case, I'm just going to show you the example. If I was doing it the other way, I could just do it this way, okay? And I'm going to do git status again, just so you can see now that's changed. Again, you can see the code, the coloring changes over here as well. I just like to, well, now I don't have to clear. Okay, so I've added the file into my repo, I've staged it. Now I'm going to do a git commit -m. I'm going to say section 1 and 2 code along. Now, cool. So the next thing I do in the Git workflow is I do a Git push. What I'm going to do is move over to GitHub real quick just to show you. This is my private repo. It doesn't have these folders yet because I have not pushed this code up here. And I just want you to, again, this is the way you know your code was pushed correctly. So I'm going to do a Git push. And then again, hopefully if you run into any issues with that, you can reach out and we'll help you with that. But what I see here is that it's written those files, those objects, and then it pushed that in to call it master. So the master of the repo locally got pushed to the master in the remote. And so if I come over here and look, I will see that directory and I will see that one file. Okay, so you're pretty much done here. Now you just have to submit it. Now, starting next week, I'm going to show you a little different way I want you to submit it. But for this exercise, because I'm trying to keep this relatively short, next week we'll start showing you how to show your commits, which is important. But we only had one line of code, so it's not a big deal. And it's good to learn both ways. So now that you're in the folder called Node Course, you can just come up to the URL, copy that. And under here, again, remember I'm looking at it from a teacher's perspective. You have a submit, and under there you'll have a URL, and that's where you'll submit that URL. Okay, that's great. If you happen to be in this course early before this semester starts, if you've gotten to this point, give me a shout out on Discord and I will quickly start working on week 2 so you have something to do. All right, good job. Talk to you later.